Welcome back. It's 9:48. The Michigan Lupus Foundation is launching a new story-driven campaign to raise awareness about the disease. Joining us in studio to talk more about it is Kimberly Diamond, Executive Director of the Michigan Lupus Foundation, Dan Hills, the CEO of Comix Wellspring, and Brittany Hall, also with Comix Wellspring. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Let's talk about this comic. Do you have one with you?
Sure. We have.
There you go. Support the butterfly effect of awareness, the invisible illness. Very cool. So this is this the comic book we'll get?
This is actually the pitch deck
Okay.
for sponsorship. So we're actually seeking sponsors for the book so it can reach far and wide.
Very cool. Can you tell us about the book? Because this is pretty cool that I've not seen this done before, where you're using a comic book to kind of raise awareness about the illness. Can you kind of just give me what the idea behind it is?
So in my line of business, we're a comic book printing company.
Okay.
And I actually launched a service that creates comic books to do this exact thing, raise awareness, or for marketing campaigns for for-profit companies. But and actually, my wife, she went to the Lupus Foundation event, and months later, she told me that that they were actually struggling for funds to stay open. And just so happens I started this new service called BrandComix, where we're doing these custom comic books. It has been done plenty of times before. It's just not really well known.
Okay.
But it simplifies complex ideas and shares emotionally driven stories. And that's exactly what the opportunity we have here is. Not only are we talking about data and facts and figures, people gravitate 22 times more likely to take action when they see visuals when there's a call to action. And that's what we're doing here. And the story in the book is actually inspired by my wife, who is a lupus warrior herself. So there's a lot of relatable scenarios in it,
Yeah.
and that's what we created a story around.
Kimberly, for those who are not aware of what lupus is, it's called the invisible illness on this comic book here,
Right.
and I'm assuming that's exactly what that is. It's an invisible illness. Can you kind of explain what lupus is? How does it affect the body?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the invisible illness, one of the things that people with lupus often hear is that you don't look sick. I've had lupus for 19 years myself. Again, Brittany, we don't look sick visibly.
Yeah.
So lupus is a chronic autoimmune condition where your immune system attacks your healthy tissues and organs. So much like a healthy person, if you get sick, your immune system attacks the virus or a foreign invader. In lupus, your immune system is attacking your own body. So it leads to widespread pain and inflammation. It can affect any part of the body. People with lupus often experience joint pain, fatigue, and organ damage. And everyone with lupus is different. There's no two cases that are exactly alike, and there's no cure. Right now, there's only medications that can help treat the symptoms.
Okay, so basically pain and symptom management is all that you can do for lupus at this point, with no cure being out there.
Right.
So why is it important for you to be able to raise awareness about this? Obviously, I think people may have heard of lupus, might not know what it is, but it is important to raise awareness. Why?
Yeah, definitely. And I think people with lupus end up feeling isolated. 2/3 of the US population doesn't know what lupus is, but there are 14,000 Michiganders in Michigan who have been diagnosed with the disease. And there's more people that have been diagnosed with lupus than cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, multiple sclerosis, and sickle cell anemia combined. So that's a huge number. And again, people just don't know about lupus. And raising awareness about the disease makes people with lupus feel less alone, less isolated, making connections with others. Again, lupus also can lead to depression, and just having that connection with others just makes a huge impact on your quality of life living with lupus.
So when you guys meet at this event, I'm curious, like, how did you guys get the ball rolling on this? Obviously, this is what you do, but how were you like, oh yeah, this is something that we've got to do, this is something that we have to do to be able to, one, promote awareness, but also raise funds to help curb this illness, right?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, nationwide, pharmaceutical companies have cut funding from patient groups like ours. So we're not the only ones struggling. There's small lupus organizations in other states that are in this exact same position, at risk of closing their doors. So we launched a critical fundraising campaign to raise $125,000 in order to keep our doors open. And that's when Brittany reached out, knowing that Dan has this comic book connection, and just was thinking outside the box. And it's one of the things, when we heard the idea, it was a no-brainer for us. We're always looking for new ways to get, raise lupus awareness, new ways to get the story out there and be creative. So we were very excited about it.
Yeah. So we're in this specific comic book, we're talking about Brittany's story, right? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
There's pieces taken, there's commonalities. A lot of people suffer with the same kind of symptoms, whether very moderate or severe. We didn't want to scare people, so we kind of tried to get surface level. A lot of the most common symptoms that, we've witnessed together, I've witnessed in her, and I just wanted to really relay that in the story, that people understand that the person sitting next to you in the bus or something could have lupus, and you never know it. So
it's a relatable story.
Yeah.
And I struggled for years with lupus, and until I found the right resources, support, education, and that was really through the Michigan Lupus Foundation. And so when I heard that they were at risk of closing due to lack of funds, I knew that we needed to do something to support and raise awareness more broadly for the 14,000 people in Michigan and more that have lupus.
It's just mind-blowing to me that only 14,000 in this state are impacted by this. You think that's a big number, but when you spread that number across the state and thinking about how big not only the lower and upper peninsula are, it really hits it close to home of just how rare this is. So Brittany, I think my question to you is for you to be able to participate in something like this, the creation of a comic book, but also helping to get the ball rolling with the Michigan Lupus Foundation here. I'm trying to figure out, what does it mean to you? Put it into words to be able to help put this on a platform where it's visible.
Yes, like Kimberly mentioned before, lupus can be so isolating. It can be an invisible illness that people look at us and they say, oh, you don't look sick, so it can be isolating. So the support and the education around lupus, to share what lupus is all about, is so important. And so this comic book is a creative way to share what lupus is all about and to hopefully raise funds and keep this critical organization alive.
Okay, and where can we find the book, and where can we also donate to the cause here?
Yes, you can go to our website, milupus.org. There's a page for the comic book on our website. You can donate. There's also an opportunity for sponsors to get their logo in the comic book to be printed, and so that's an opportunity to have longevity in this comic book and have recognition in distribution.
yeah, it's a timeless piece. I mean, as you mentioned too, to kind of backtrack, the 14,000 are just diagnosed. There could be plenty more. I mean, it took a long time for Brittany to, or the doctors to actually diagnose her. So there are a lot of people who are suffering that don't even know that they have it. So this is actually a good way. You might land in someone's hands that say, these are all the things I'm feeling. Maybe I got to go get checked out. So there's a lot of byproduct kind of effect that this could have. So we're really excited to get it out there, and like we said, we are looking for sponsors. Sponsors will not only help us keep the foundation alive, but also reach far and wide. Hopefully one day a national version of it.
Okay, well thank you guys so much for coming in to share not only both of these great people's stories, but also for you for illustrating that with a comic book. I think that's so cool. And of course, we'll have all the information if you want to donate or try to find where you can get this comic book on 13onyourside.com.